Welcome again to Python Basics 1. This study is packaged or powered by Byte Consult and I Study Live. I am Afolayan Adeshola Olayinka. This is Python Introduction Training Course, Unit 2, Variables in Python. In this section, you will learn what is variable, converting variables, concatenating strings in Python, and variable swapping. What is variable? A variable is defined as a symbol, such as x, used to describe any number. When a variable is used in a function, we know that it is not just one constant number, but it can represent many numbers. Variables are instrumental in understanding problems relating to even graphings. Okay, so in Python, as against variables or variable or other definition in other programming languages such as C#, C++. Okay, in C#, we describe variable as a container. For example, when you have a equals 1, it implies variable a contains value 1. But in Python, it implies variable a is reversed to as 1. Okay, so when I say variable a is reversed to as 1, what I mean is that variable a, my a can be 1, and I will say, okay, if my a is 1, print 1, and the same variable a, I still reverse it as 2, and I say print 2. So my variable a could be reversed to 1 and later reversed to what? 2. Okay, so that is one of the things that we must note in Python. Okay, also you can declare x as a variable and initialize it to 0 in Python. Later you can redeclare your x as another thing. For example, you declare it as Adeshola99 and you print it. So your x is 0 here, and at the same time later on it becomes what? Adeshola99. What am I saying? I'm saying that you declare, see, when we say x is equal to 0 and I run it, n is equal to 0, I print x and I redeclare. You can redeclare. Okay, you redeclare your x as this, and I print it and it becomes Adeshola99. Okay, so also in declaring, you can declare a variable as global and as local variable. Okay, for example, when you declare your x to be 0, you make it as global here. Okay, then you define a function 1 such that x is equal to ajb. When you print this x, that is local variable x. So by the time you call for function 1 and you print x, you are printing the local and global variable. This is what I'm trying to say. Okay, for example, let's say I commented this. Okay, if I run this, my x is equal to 0. This x is equal to 0 is the global. Okay, and it produces this 0. Okay, so when I say print x again, I print x is still global. Okay, so by the time and I choose by the time I choose to create the local variables, my local variable, I define a function 1 as x such that my x is equal to Ajegbe, and I print x. If I run this one, what happens? What happens is that this is local variable, okay? Whereas this is global. All right. Okay. Let's move on. Also, you can convert or cast a variable. For example, here I said my a is equal to 1, and I print a. Okay. Here my a is integer. To know the type of my variable, I can type a. Type a will give me the type of my variable, and by the time I do type a, my variable will give me. Okay, so also I can cast. Since this is a variable and this variable is integer, and this integer, I can now say that I want it to become strings. How will I do that? It's very easy. Let's check the demo. The demo is here. To cast, you type my a is equal to 1, print a. Okay, my a is equal to 1, print a. So by the time you run this, then I print a. But this a is integer. How do I know? Type a. By the time I type a, this is a function to give me the type of my variable. When I run it, it gives me that my a is integer. So if I want to use a as string, then I need to cast it back to what? String. What do I do? This is what I will do. I will type is equal to string a, okay, to convert it back to strings. So when I run this one now, you see, it's no more integer. That means I cast my a from string, from integer to strings. Okay, so very easy. The next thing is when you are casting string in Python. Let me give you an example. For example, this is a simple program to calculate amount I use on breakfast, lunch, dinner, and meal. Okay, the demo is at the end of the day, in this demo, I want to print the amount for breakfast. I want to print this amount for breakfast, but I just don't want it to say print and give me a particular number. I want to cast it to read like breakfast cost this much. Therefore, that means I will cast string and I will concatenate. Let me show you what I'm trying to say. For example, I said it's easier for you to concatenate string in Python. Bread is equal to 11, milk, the price for milk, egg, Rocky, and all those items. So I said I can do the demo now. What I'm going to do is very easy. Now you will having said all these things, but by the time you say print, let's say we say print, I can say print breakfast. Okay, if I just do this one and I comment it, if I comment all these ones, okay, and I copy everything, okay, let's say I want it to print just the amount. I want it to print just the amount. Okay, that means I will not need to concatenate it. I don't need to add them together. So it's very easy. If I don't want to add them together, I remove these ones, and there will not be any reason for it to add anything together. Okay, so it will just give me the amount. So if let's say I run this one, it just give me breakfast is 62, lunch is 55, dinner is 55, meal per day is 172, which is very easy and straightforward. But to a layman, it may not mean anything. That is why I thought, okay, it's better for me to put more flesh so that people will understand what exactly is 62 and what is 55, what is 72. So what do? I had to put the meaning of each number. So I said print breakfast cost E plus breakfast. Okay, instead of writing breakfast alone. But for me to do this, I have to write all these things. I need to cast, I will need to cast breakfast back to string because I want to add it to string. Lunch back to string, dinner back to string, meal per day back to string. Then it will be easier for me now to do what? To print breakfast cost E plus breakfast. Let's see what will happen now if I do something like that. So by the time I run it now, you see, say breakfast cost E 62. Each lunch cost E 55. Each dinner cost E 55. Meal per day cost E 182. So invariably, you know how to cast back to string so that you'll be able to concatenate when there is need for it. Okay. So the next thing, and which is the last thing, is variable swapping. In Python, there is need for you to swap. Okay. Instead of saying, for example, your variable 1 is equal to number 1 and variable 2 is equal to number 2, and you want variable 1 to become number 2 and variable 2 to become number 1. So the simplest way is what I call, okay, is here. Now, what do? Okay, assuming that I've ever run this one, I can delete this and go to kernel and clear out and restart it so that I will be able to get it fresh. Okay, so I declare my variable 1, as I've said, variable 2. Now, and I form another temp variable to be 1, whereas my v1 is equal to v2 and my v2 is equal to temp1. By the time I say, okay, print, okay, so I need to run this one first before I run this one. Okay, so by the time I say print variable 1, it prints number 2. That is, variable 1, which is supposed to be number 1, is now variable 1 is equal to what? Number 2. Okay, so when I say, okay, print variable 2, it's now number 1. Do we understand it now? So it has swapped it. And when I want to know the value for my variable, the type of variable 1, then it's string. So it has swapped the string for the variable. So next lesson is unit 3, if statement in Python. Don't forget to check for updates at istudylive.com. Subscribe and like our channel. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.